roughly 30 minutes, give or take, and give you a little bit of a backstory on my life, my journey, how I ended up speaking on this podium. Tell you a little bit about the community that we're building here, connecting vegans, plant-based people, basically like-hearted, kind people around the world, and then open up the floor to any and all questions. So, my name is John Thomas. I'm now better known around the world as the Bodybuilding Vegan. I am the world's largest vegan bodybuilder, about 270 pounds this morning. I've worked with over 500 athletes through one-on-one online coaching, and I've spent a lot of time learning about veganism and how that can pertain to sports and athletic performance and such. I've been vegan for 20 years, but instead of just listing what I've done, I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of a journey through where I started and where we're at today. So these beautiful people are actually all here today. It's pretty cool. We're not all based in the same areas of the world, but we've been, at least a couple of us have been traveling the world, staying in Airbnbs and presenting, doing things similar to this to try and promote for veganism and vegan businesses. But most certainly did not start there. Started somewhere around this age, at least for me. I think this was the closest photo that I could find to where I was around 4 years old. I kind of joke, but it's also kind of true. This might be shocking to some people, but I'm not exactly an animal lover. I don't remember the last time that I've hugged a dog that way. I'm not the first person to go play with people's dogs or other animals, but I do have a deep respect for animals and allowing them to continue to live their lives, which takes us this next photo of a fish. So I was around 4 years old when I can remember my dad had asked me, hello, come on in, had asked me if I wanted to go on this camping trip and eat fish. And I said, yeah, sure, fish tastes great, let's do it. And when I realized, though, that we were gonna go fishing and catch the fish, that the same fish that was swimming in the water was also the fish I had eaten on my plate. As I saw the fish taken out of the water and drowning in air on the deck, suffocating, I kind of freaked out and threw myself on the ground and cried and said I didn't want that. My dad ended up putting the fish back in the water. I hoped that it lived. And that was the earliest memory that I could think where I might be on the track for veganism, well before I ever knew what the word vegan was. In this next cute little photo, we see a squirrel. Now, people in Florida might not love squirrels, but I was 9 years old, and my dad said, let's go hunting. And I had never been hunting before, but my dad had taught me how to shoot. I was pretty good at shooting. I was pretty confident that I could shoot something. At least in theory, like I knew I could hit a target or paper, but the thought of, for what reason, a squirrel, I'm not really sure, but the thought of shooting a squirrel really bothered me. So I set myself up for success. I told my dad, I'm not gonna disappoint you. I will go hunting squirrels. And then me, as the talented marksman that I am, I'll just aim at the ground a little bit in front of the squirrel so that I don't actually have to kill a squirrel. Don't disappoint my dad other than be shitty at shooting, and don't disappoint the squirrel by putting a bullet in his head. So, but I wasn't vegan. I would still eat animal products whenever they were given to me, until about a year later. Interesting story, I was born on the exact same day as my childhood best friend. We found out at 15 when we went to get our driver's license that our social security numbers were 1 digit off. Like it was her and then mine. We were born at different times on the same day. I was born in a hospital. She was born in a birthing center like 50 miles away, but my parents were best friends when they were pregnant, and then best friends throughout my life. And my mom still hangs out with her mom. And this was one of the most influential people in my life ever, because at 10 years old, her mom brought over McDonald's, and she looked at the hamburger and she said, if you eat the hamburger, you're killing a cow. And immediately I was like, well, you ate the hamburger last week, and your mom bought it for us, and my parents said it's okay, and who are you to judge me on my 10-year-old journey? I can do what I want. I got angry. But the whole time I knew that she was correct, logically. Like, you can't have this without killing this. And that bothered me. It bothered me a lot. I started to think about it, started to become more like Native American, like thanking the fish that I was eating for allowing me to eat it. And then I realized I was really stupid. I could just not eat the fish. So I didn't want to be labeled though. I'd been bullied a lot as a kid. I didn't want to be labeled as vegetarian. So I was like, well, I'll still eat turkey. They can't call me a vegetarian if I still eat turkey. They can't make fun of me. And I'm not killing most animals, so I'm pretty good. And then Thanksgiving rolled around, saw a turkey similar to this on a table, like literally a dead animal. And I decided I can't do this. So 10 years old, no one forced me. And my friend, she made fun of me, but like she didn't even stay vegetarian, but I decided I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try going vegetarian, cut out the turkey. I just can't live with myself if I'm still killing animals. So I thought that was it, the end of the story. Then at 13, like at 13, my mom got me this PETA magazine from the store. She's like, you could probably learn how to cook something vegetarian. And it had some title along the lines of why vegetarian isn't enough. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm vegetarian, I know this is enough. Let me go in here and tell this editor why they're stupid, because I'm 13 and I know everything. And I get like 2 paragraphs in and I'm just like, oh my God. I still remember being in the car. I remember where my mom dropped me off in middle school. Like, that day forever changed my life. I still actually remember the place in the yard we were standing when my friend told me that killing a cow to make a hamburger isn't okay. And my mom probably lost her crap thinking like I was just trying to help my son. He needs to learn how to cook vegetarian. And I turned and looked at her and said, I need to go vegan. But my parents were relatively supportive. I thought this would last for like a week. It's been 20 years. But I was 13 when I went vegan. And I don't know, I was the only vegan that I knew. Not exactly a whole lot of people to ask questions or learn how to cook. I mean, luckily my parents supported me. I mean, I didn't have a car. I don't even know if I think I had a bike, but like no money to buy food at a store. But I made sure that I was like diehard vegan because this ugly belt was the only non-leather belt that Target had. So for my 8th grade graduation, I wanted to make sure I had that. Then fast forward, didn't really think much about veganism. Like, it was just like, okay, I'm vegan, but like that's not my life or anything. Got into wrestling. Very brutal and hard sport. I don't know why we put young men or young women into this. So you're supposed to be like developing through puberty, and they're like, no, you can't eat food. And you got to do hours of cardio. We ran more than the cross country team. It was hard, and then it prepared me for something after that I really had no experience with. I remember watching like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I even watched the Pumping Iron movie. Probably maybe not the right crowd for this, but I remember thinking how weird it was. But then somehow after wrestling, I realized the season ended and we were supposed to get stronger, so we lifted weights. I was like, 1, this isn't as hard as wrestling, but 2, I actually really enjoy this. I'm like, 125 pounds. Let's go. That's me on the left, 125 pounds. And I decided to get into lifting weights, and then it kind of gradually moved towards bodybuilding, but I needed to get a gym. I could only do so much at home. So I remember at 15, I convinced my dad to take me to the gym, and the really large trainer there was starting to give me some advice and tell me how to do things. I was like, okay, cool. He asked me what I was eating, and I recounted, I don't remember what, but I remember what came next. And he said, you will never build any muscle if you don't eat meat. And believe it or not, I took that as if like God had said, you're not going to build any muscle. Or Jesus came down and said, you're not going to build any muscle. I mean, this guy was like, imagine me saying, you won't build any muscle, somebody this size. And I was a 15-year-old kid, so I thought he was right. But I enjoyed working out, so I kept riding my bike back to the gym twice a day, 6 days a week. Sunday was the only day that I took any rest. I became addicted, and I built a little bit of muscle. Would have built a lot more if I knew what the hell I was doing, if I had known how to eat right or had any sort of guidance or supervision. But I took it to about as extreme as you can, men's open bodybuilding. I'm now the world's largest vegan bodybuilder, and thank you, Alex. was finding Allie. She's actually outside, hopefully doing a great job letting people know what we're here for and talking to other vegans today. She came into my life after I had left another relationship because I asked myself in the prior relationship, does this person make you a better person for the world? Like, take your love out of this, take your feelings out of this. Is this person helping you get to where you want to be? And immediately I texted her, we need to talk, because I knew I couldn't be in a relationship with that person anymore. I told myself I'll wait 10 years or 4 months or 10 years until I find the next person that can actually make me a better person for the world. And you get to see this beautiful woman here. What you don't see is she's a giant pain in the ass. She is so difficult because she constantly challenges me to be better. It's like I'm working in this constant like mirror reflection, or almost like at the gym with somebody stronger than you. So you're like, oh, I want to catch them. I want to be as strong as them. Or in this case, I want to be good enough. I want to level up enough to be worthy of her presence and worthy of all that she gives me. So any young people watching, or old people, I guess anybody watching, your partner can have an extremely influential outcome on your life. And so very grateful to have Allie here. I joke that she's a pain in the butt, but frankly, I wouldn't be here right now without her. That's just a little bit about me. And then, yes, back to the animals. So again, I'm not an animal lover, and I can tell you exactly why. I mean, I respect Henry. I really respect him. I want Henry to live. But when my best friend, Alex Walsh, who runs Karma Farm Sanctuary out of Micanopy, Florida, called me at 1 a.m. Hey, you want to come wrangle this pig with me? Like, I need help wrangling a pig. And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm a bodybuilder. I got to get my sleep. I'm like going back to sleep. Next day I text him, so did you wrangle the pig? He's like, yeah, we got it. I'm like, okay. What's going on with the pig? Well, it's not it. The pig's name is Henry. And Henry was going to get shot in the face last night if somebody didn't come pick him up. Whoever had owned Henry before, I don't know if Henry was intended for food or intended for fun or a pet or whatever. But Henry was no longer valuable to the prior owners, to the point where they were going to shoot him in the face. And I said, wow, well, what do you need? And Alex said, I'm a bit religious. I trust that God is going to provide. We're already up to our eyeballs in credit card debt because all we do is save animals. And so we need like $5,000 to give Henry a life-saving surgery and then give him a forever home. He can work for some of this by making handcrafted art, but outside of that, like, we really need some money soon. So I said, great, that sounds awesome. Let's do this. I'll tell my following that if we can raise $5,000 in the next week, I'll go ahead and live stream myself getting a head tattoo, and we will save Henry, and I'll have this awesome head tattoo that I wanted to get anyways, but we can tie it around charity. About 4 days into that, we'd raised about $1,000, and I had the bright idea of like speaking this into existence and saying, Alex, don't worry about it. I'm gonna cover the rest if nothing happens. And I'm like, where am I gonna find $4,000 this week? Okay. But what I realized is Henry's a mascot. These sanctuaries, they're not going to save all the animals in the world. It's just not going to happen. But Henry allows people to place a name on an individual and stand for these sanctuaries and put their word out there and allow people to do the right thing. So of the $9,000 we raised in that week, about 90 separate donors of different amounts. Some people put larger amounts, some people put it just a couple dollars, whatever they could. About 60 out of the 90 people that donated, I think it was 87 people that donated, 60 were people that I don't believe were vegan or had any inclination towards plant-based or caring about animals. They just saw Henry's story. Maybe they wanted to support me a little bit, but I think they just chose to do the right thing. And so when we put it out there that it's easy to donate, just click a button, send some imaginary money, and a real animal gets to live out the rest of his life. Oop, this one. You know, people want to do the right thing. So we just got to try and give them opportunities to do the right thing. I now have the head tattoo. I'm a bit out there as a vegan, but this has done exactly what I wanted to do. I can't go anywhere without somebody asking, well, the one that blows my mind, is that real? Like, yeah, it's real. And then the next question, well, is it a joke? And I'm like, what would I be joking about? And they're like, well, you know. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's okay to kill animals. So like, oh, well, it's like you're big, so maybe you're like making a joke that vegans can't be big. And I'm just like, I don't know. The mental gymnastics hurt my head, but it allows me to speak to people because, believe it or not, I am still that little 13-year-old kid, quite an introvert. I did so much extra credit that I had 101% in my AP Psych class in high school, and the final presentation was 10% of your grade, and I just refused to get up and stand, and the teacher looked at me and was like, why aren't you speaking? I'll even give you partial credit, just get up there and do anything. I was like, no, I'll still get a 91 in your class if I don't move. So I don't exactly aspire to be here. If the world went vegan tomorrow, I would not be speaking like this, but it's not yet, and I'm trying to find my way in the world, and I realized I needed Allie. Activism was a big part of this, and then building my own little vegan tribe. So you can see me and Alex here, we're hanging out, so to speak. And Alex came out and visited Allie and I when we put everything in storage and drove all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona from Florida, and decided to go on this kind of Airbnb road trip adventure and go to vegan events and try and help spread the word. And once Alex left, I looked at Allie and I said, can we adopt him? And she's like, he's almost 25, he's a grown adult. I don't think we can adopt him. I was like, yeah, but I really want him to stay. And she's like, well, maybe you should ask him to come back. Little did I know, Alex was gonna come back and Melissa was gonna tag along. So we had our trip to LA, and then we went out to Utah, Bryce Canyon here, and really just had the best time ever. And it was while hiking with them back in June of this year that I had this light bulb moment. We needed to do more of this. We needed to spend more time together, build communities, be apart, support one another. Because being vegan myself for 20 years, it's been lonely for a long time. There was a very long period of time where I forced my little brother to go vegan, but outside of that, it was me and him. That was the only vegans I knew for like 4 or 5 years. So fast forward to August, we had our first ever public vegan squad meetup where we hung out on the beach, did some Flow Star stuff, had fun. Look at all the smiles. And then I had this crazy idea. What if we just get an Airbnb and invite a bunch of vegans from around the world and have this vegan house together? And it was, to date, the single best month of my life. I think that most of these people knew me, but most of them didn't know each other, and I had not lived with most of them. And not a single fight, not a single argument, not a single, oh, I ate something of yours and it wasn't vegan. Fully awesome house to just be ourselves, be kind. It even got ridiculous. Like, we're all coaches, so we started coaching each other. Like, we're not allowed to say sorry in this house. Like, if I bump into Alex, I'm not allowed to say, like, sorry, because then you're like, oh, sorry I'm late. Sorry I didn't do enough for you, or sorry. So it's like, thanks for letting me bump into you and not freaking out. It's like, and we still do that to this day. So it's like, I'm just around all these people that make me a better person. Kind of what I was trying to do with Allie, but even on a greater deal. And I was like, what can we do to share this still the same environment with more people? Like, because we can't, I don't know how many people can fit in a house. I guess we got a big house, but there's more people than can fit in one house. So we started to build this vegan squad community. Originally, I wanted it to focus mostly on like nutrition and training and a lot of the things that we have experts in, but I realized it was more of this than the bodybuilding side, more of this than the training side. These, at the time of making this presentation, was our list of coaches. Since then, it's been about a month and we've added 5 more. We are really quite growing, and it is just a little bit overwhelming for me at times to be in such an awesome spot. I want to dive in a little bit and show you what we've been building. We have our own app where people can just literally, happy Halloween, this is a little bit old. Quentin on here, he pretty much always just says like, have a good day or good morning, things along those lines. We share things a little bit more in depth, recipes and other things, but it's just a safe place for people that, the ways I've been saying it recently is, if you've ever felt a little bit lonely living as a vegan in a non-vegan world, these are your people. These are the people that get it, the people that can't get their siblings or can't get their parents or can't get their kids to go vegan, but they can still come hang out with other vegans. On this next page shows one of my favorite parts is the map. And we're able to You can turn it off if you don't want to share your location, but a lot of the people, and it's not exact, it's like within like a 10-mile radius, but people have been meeting up around the world, not realizing, oh my gosh, there's another vegan like in the same city as me. We could hang out, we could go get food, we could go train together. And even more impactful to me is Abigail. Abigail was actually friends with third from the right, Maya there. She's actually here at this event today. And Maya convinced Abigail to just sign up, see how a month would treat her. And Abigail said, my win of the week is celebrating my 3rd day eating fully plant-based and cooking tofu for lunch for the first time and loving it. Abigail's been vegan for 3 months now. We have quite literally changed her life. And I can say that not to say like take pride in I've changed her life, but like my friend changed my life at 10. Whoever, I wish I could thank them, wrote that PETA magazine that I don't have anymore at 13, changed my life. And now through Maya, we've changed Abigail's life. And it doesn't come without problems though. Like we have the holidays coming up. This is gonna be Abigail's first Thanksgiving ever. I remember my first vegetarian Thanksgiving because I stopped eating anything on the table, but I now have it pretty sweet. I mean, my family's done vegan Thanksgiving for like 15 years now. It's solid. We've perfected the recipes, but Abigail doesn't have that. And she's gonna be going home to family that might not understand it. So we've got this awesome group of people that she can reach out to and that we're actively reaching out as well, sharing recipes, offering calls before and after the holidays, just kind of prepping people for what questions they might get asked or how they can respond or choose to walk away. I think it's quite powerful. We have Suzanne here with the win of the week. She's been eating vegan for several years, but her husband wasn't, and definitely not the rest of her family. But this week, magic happens. My husband said he wants to try eating vegetarian during the week for health benefits. And she gets to share this win with us because probably the rest of her family doesn't fully get it. They just don't understand it yet. And that is another thing that I think is so valuable here, just having people that understand you and don't think you're weird for thinking it's weird to kill animals. Had our first ever live call. Shortly after that, our first ever public meetup. Quentin, I mentioned earlier, is the guy on the right here. He's always saying good morning, and one of my clients, Steven, just realized we're like 10 minutes apart from each other in Dallas. Let's go to the gym together. They still hang out on the live calls. They still talk to each other. They're still down the street from each other. Never would have happened if they weren't here. And so that to me is like extremely special that these guys get to meet up together. We have within the community, of course, like where I wanted to take things on the fitness side, but also things along the lines of sound bowls, healing exercises, somatic exercises, really things that I'm not quite an expert in. I've mostly been on this bodybuilding track my whole life. I've got meal plans, hydration, the Navigating the Holidays course, and I wanted to make sure that on this platform, it was accessible to anyone. And my mom basically was like technology averse, only started text messaging us within the last 5 years. Like if I wanted to talk to her, I had to call her, but she even joined. Of course, she supports me on everything I do, but she's chosen to stay a part of this because she gets some value from it. So I conclude this with saying, I don't really need this for myself right now. I mean, I have the strongest vegan family in the world, but I do it for this person who didn't, for the new vegans out there that need support, that could have benefited from having someone here to support them and not judge them, share their wisdom. So I feel like wherever you're at, if you're plant-based or even plant-based open-minded and on the beginningness of your journey, there's a spot for you. And if you've done this for 20 years, then you have something to give back. And I think that the more people we can connect around the world, the more change we can make in our lifetime, the more not only can we support each other, but can we become unified in our actions, unified in showing up at events like this at the Space Coast Veg Fest and supporting the vendors that are here, but also staying in touch in between, sharing. The new vegans, they keep blowing my mind because I think I know everything. I think I've found every vegan product at Walmart or whatever. And then they'll be like, well, did you read the label on this? Did you know this is vegan, or this is a new formulation, or Alex just got the new, there's like just egg and now there's just chicken. And I'm like, there's so much. Because when I was 13 and went vegan, there was rice milk. And if you were lucky, there was tofu. And I mean, it was pretty slim pickings back then. It's a completely different landscape now. I didn't get to ask a chance for who's vegan and for how long, but I do like to say I'm not the first, I'm not the pioneer. I like to give back to Robert Cheek. I consider him the godfather of vegan bodybuilding. But him and anyone else that's been vegan for a considerable period of time has paved the way for this new generation and made life a little bit easier. I couldn't imagine being vegan in the 80s. I've talked to some people that have been vegan in the 80s or in the 70s. And they had to go through that so that this would be a little bit better for us, and we get to go through this so we can make it a little bit better for the next generation. So if you guys want to join, Alex and I'd be happy to walk you through the process. Really just looking to connect with other like-hearted people, create a safe place, help train the next generation so that one day I can die knowing that I did all I did in this life to make it a little bit better for the animals. At this point, though, I've been talking for way too long. So I hope this is what you came for, but if there's anything I didn't answer, if you have any questions specific to yourself or anything I could assist with or any directions I could point you in, please use me as a resource. I know a lot about nutrition, I know a lot about bodybuilding, I've worked with about 500 people, and so through that I've just caught on trends. I can kind of tell when people are going to go sick. I have enough clients around the world that I can kind of tell when things are happening. So I have some knowledge. Be happy to share any of it if it's useful. Do we have any questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, how much protein do you eat a day? And I assume most of your protein probably comes from tofu, but how do you do with your protein? What do you use for protein? Do you use protein shakes?
Yeah.
Beans?
Fair. Good question. So what do I do for protein? How much grams per day, and then like some actual examples. And I think that was possibly your question earlier as well. So granted, I am like as extreme as you can get, literally the largest vegan bodybuilder in the world. So you can't, well, I hope somebody can, but this is about as extreme as I can push it. Maybe somebody else can go further. I do about 370 grams of protein a day. It's a lot. Kidneys still come back good. Overall health looks good. Being this heavy, I'll be honest, bodybuilding is not health. Any extreme sport, even tennis or golf or ballet at the extremes is not healthy. Bodybuilding is kind of unique in the sense that it's get as big as you can, and whether you're fat or muscular, that does put strain on your heart. So I know I'm probably shaving some years off my life here. However, I think that I'm a walking vegan billboard, like quite literally, so I'm willing to trade a few years off my life if that starts hundreds, if not thousands of more seeds planted in the same way that seeds were planted for me when I was younger. To get further into your question though, I've found tofu is good. I don't eat as much tofu now. I think I kind of got tofu'd out, eating tofu multiple times a day for like 15 years. I'm also lazy, so that can be taken into account, at least with food. So I do like seitan. I'll make my own seitan at home. That's usually easy to meal prep in a batch. I am sponsored by a company called Say Grace. It's similar to soy curls, if you've had soy curls before, but they pull a little bit more of the fat out. So it makes it great for bodybuilders, but also great for anybody. It's just a lower fat option that's still very high in protein. I do use shakes. I feel that shakes are super easy, super convenient. I work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if I'm on the move, a shake can be an awesome option. And for me at least, depending upon the shake that you use, it can digest pretty well. Pea protein and soy protein both digest pretty well for me. So I can eat large amounts of those in shakes and not have a problem. Outside of that, again, back to being like lazy when it comes to food, I like TVP. I'll mix, I do like TVP with oats sometimes. Just throw a bunch of stuff in a microwave or even in a rice cooker, let it cook itself and then eat it after. But what I would say is, depending upon you and your goals, protein probably doesn't need to be anywhere near as high as it is for me. I might experiment next year with like a lower protein diet. That means I'll have to push the carbs and the fats a bit higher so that my total energy intake is higher. but just to see how that affects digestion and how it affects performance. I think for the majority of people in the United States, we have really harped on protein, but I don't think it needs to be that high. If my mom was asking, like, what do I need to be healthy per day? I'd say 40 to 50 grams of protein. And if you eat whole foods unprocessed for like 80% of your food, you'll hit that anyways, even without eating things like tofu, like potatoes, oats, lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and even fruits have protein in them already. And so we don't have to eat so much. And in fact, in my career and around bodybuilding and working with athletes, I have never once seen an individual ever be protein deficient. The only way that you could be protein deficient, really there's only two. The main one for like 99% of people, you're calorically deficient. Like you're facing starvation. Then you could be protein deficient if you're just not eating enough. Or if for some weird reason you were eating just processed foods, like just Gatorade or something, or just sugary candy that had no protein whatsoever, then I guess it could present itself, but that's just an extreme, and I've never seen that happen either. So people are so concerned with protein, but I would dive deeper and be more concerned with other micronutrients, more of what you would get from a whole foods plant-based diet anyways. My brother, for example, I think he's a good metric. Like we have the exact same genes. He went vegan around the same time as me. He's a couple years younger, so he's probably coming up on his 20th year as a vegan. And he's just an ethical vegan. This kid would eat like 4 of the chicken patties from like Boca when he got home, or a bag of Lay's potato chips, or a bag of pretzels. And that stuck with him to present day. That's kind of how he eats. He's never tracked his protein. And I've asked to see, out of curiosity, can you send me your blood work when you get it done with your doctor? Because like, you eat the epitome of junk food vegan, his blood work still comes back good. His cholesterol is good. Like he's semi-active. He's a gymnastics coach. He doesn't compete anymore, but he like walks around on the floor. He gets some movement. But he's never tracked his food. He's never weighed his food. He's never cared, other than as long as it's vegan, I'll eat it. And he's still, from everything I can see, and I would let him know if he wasn't, because I'm the big brother that would just be like, aha, see, you're eating too much junk food. But he's coming back fine. I mean, he eats some vegetables every now and then, but my dad used to give a shit. He'd say, I can't believe y'all are vegans that don't eat vegetables, because as a teenager, I just didn't really love vegetables. So yeah, very long-winded way of saying there's different options. You can get as much protein as you want. You might not need to. It's just expensive. That's really the only downside. But thank you. Thank you for the question. Anybody else? Give me some more. I would love to. Oh. You're so right. Yep, I'm not the best salesman, I will say that much. I just try to speak from the heart during these. So yes, it is an app. I don't know if people are familiar with it or not. I wasn't before until one of our awesome team members suggested we do this. There's an app called the School app. It's School with a K, S-K-O-O-L. And on there, it's very similar to Facebook or any other social media platform. The cool part though is it's curated by us. There's no ads, there's no outside input, and there's nobody joining this. Like we have to specifically say, yes, we approve of this member before they join. So we have no negativity, no hate. I will say, like, you guys may or may not know this, but I'm relatively large on the Instagram platform. I go on Reddit a lot. Like Reddit this year, we've hit like 30 million people, which is crazy. But like 90% of the comments that I get on Reddit are negative. And so I just kind of have told myself, for me, I'm not allowed to reply if it's negative. If it's positive, I can say thank you, I can give more information. But if they're like, you're stupid, you're killing more plants by not eating animals because it's better to not farm and just kill animals, and I just don't reply to them anymore because I don't have enough hours in the day to even reply. But it drains me. So what I've realized is in our private community here, whenever I feel a little bit down or a little bit stressed, I'll just go read some of what people are going through right now, and the stories blow my mind. Like I was doing a presentation the other night, and I don't know what I'm going to find if I pull up the app, because it is live, it's real. And one of our newer members, Jordan, said that going vegan saved his dad's life. His dad was diagnosed with a pretty aggressive cancer, and the doctor said, get your stuff in order, like this is about to be it. And Jordan had the balls. I wasn't able to do it with my dad. He passed from cancer. Jordan had the balls to tell his dad, you need to go vegan and I'm gonna show you how to do it. And his dad lived for 5 more years. And I didn't know that that was gonna pop up while I was presenting. And it's just like, sometimes you get that, or sometimes you get, what's your guys' favorite protein to have for lunch? Or, you know, I'm gonna be in Asheville this weekend. Do you guys have any restaurants you recommend? Or I'll give credit to other people, like, I'm really struggling today. What do you guys do when you feel depressed or you feel down and you know you have things to do, but you're not sure what to do? And watching 20 people come in and just build this person up, it's hard to believe this is real. I've never seen anything like it before in my life, and I am putting everything I have into this. I've put my retirement accounts into this. I've hired what I truly believe to be the best team in the world. Like, I believe all the coaches on the team are better people than me. I sincerely believe that. And it's just really powerful to be in that essence and that aura. And I also feel that by connecting people in this app, if we can take vegans, we're only about 1% of the population, but if we start having more fun, visibly looking like we're enjoying our life, for the people that do yoga, getting better at yoga, for the people that do bodybuilding, get better at bodybuilding, and just breeding this support of one another, we're gonna elevate. And then other people are gonna be like, well, how do they do that? I wanna be more like that. And if we can do that, if we can make veganism accessible, cheap, fun, sexy, then we can sell it and we can get other people on board. And for me, at the end of the day, it's all about the animals. I would happily take a bullet to the head right now if the rest of the world would go vegan. That'd make my life very easy. It's something I think about. I don't know why I waste my time thinking about it, because it's never gonna happen. So like, what are the games that we can play in our lifetime to try and move this forward? And I think, at least for me, activism wasn't a big part of my life for a long time because I just covered up who I was. I covered up that this mattered so much to me because nobody else around me it mattered to at all. And I used to like justify, well, activists must be crazy, they must be weird, and now here I am feeling like one. And I think if I could take a time machine, or if Alex could take a time machine, or somebody could come talk to me at 15 and say, hey, it's good that you went vegan, but imagine if you were able to speak about it and help somebody else go vegan. Like, what would that have done for you if a friend hadn't told you about vegetarianism, or if you hadn't read that PETA magazine when you did? I probably wouldn't be up here speaking right now. I really sincerely hope I would have came around to this at another point in time. But I think the best gift that you can give in life is, at least for me, the education that you can go vegan if it feels in alignment with your heart. So I'm trying to create an atmosphere and literally a community in which we can do that. So I don't know if this was where today was supposed to go or not, but I've just been kind of speaking from the heart. I am here to answer any other like practical or fitness questions as well, or health questions. Yes. Yeah. Let me like, before I forget, because I could go in a few different directions, let me slow it down. So for the app and for like accessibility, like my mom is 65 and not very great with technology, but she's learned how to text and use most things like sending emails on her phone. And so we've picked another app that has already figured out the app game and just built our community within that app. So it's very accessible, very easy to use. We realized that some people weren't taking the time to use it, so we offer a free onboarding call just to walk people through it. And that's all included with the free trial as well. And then to your point, women, and I will say and men as well. I'm glad that women are starting to view health and fitness as a women's topic as well, because women are not small men. They're completely different biological functions. There's a beautiful woman. That's Allie. So do we need to approach things differently as we age? We actually do, at least based on the research that I've seen. And you have to remember, I'm a bodybuilder, and so I'm always trying to learn as much as I can about the body and how we can adjust it. I think it's so cool. It's like a giant science experiment on oneself. But what I've been seeing from reputable people on that side is that as we get older, our need for protein increases slightly because our digestion, at least my understanding, your stomach, your intestines, it's another organ that just grows with age. It gets older with time. And so our ability to absorb protein decreases. So we can increase the amount of protein that we take in a little bit as we get older, and that will basically counteract the less great absorption of it. So I think around a gram per pound of body weight, I'm still, even for that like 60 plus, I would still say that's like at the top end, like the very high end. I would just off the top of my head say closer to a half a gram or even 3/4 of a gram. If you're averaging in there, I think you're gonna be okay. And the ways that you could tell would be, are you at least maintaining your strength in the gym or maintaining the movements that you do, or are you progressing? If not, then maybe we could try pushing it higher. But also, it's hard to put things in a vacuum, because most people don't say, well, I'm gonna perfectly measure out my carbs, perfectly measure out my fats, and then perfectly measure out my proteins. That's not everybody. So I would maybe give a little bump to protein as you're getting older at that 60 plus range. But I wouldn't like freak out and be like, oh, I didn't get protein in this meal, I'm not gonna be able to recover or grow. In the same sense, we still need adequate calories to maintain muscle mass, and then protein is just a small portion of that. Let me see. And then for women specifically, like, I do think that having at least some sort of resistance training, I nudge my mom on that a lot, because she loves to walk. We'll go walk for hours. Nearly killed her a few times trying to go hiking in Phoenix, but not always following the trails perfectly. But having some resistance training will help prevent osteoporosis, prevent muscle breakdown. Basically, like the way I tell my athletes is, like, if you're trying to build muscle, you need to give it a reason. So you need to go in and train hard, give that stimulus. And the same thing if you're trying to preserve muscle as you're getting older, you just need to give it a stimulus, give it a reason to stick around. But I've seen people in their 70s and 80s still lifting weights, still performing well. I think the biggest thing is, like, don't stop moving. I've seen that 3 of my grandparents have passed due to degenerative diseases, and 1 is well on her way. And for the 3 that passed, I can say pretty much as soon as my grandpa got injured falling, he sat down a lot, never got back up. And then my grandma, as soon as he passed, stopped taking care of the house, and then she was well on her way out soon. So continue to move. I think that is a huge part of this. And then obviously eat plant-based. But did you have any more? Because I know I stopped you.
Aging and bodybuilding or body strength training insight. What I found is I've been moving on and off in my life. I'm not totally right now, and I'm going back to the gym. And it's so easy to injure yourself when you haven't been doing that level of training. You know, I've done some prior to that, but not to that level. And so to address an aging population on the site,
I don't know if we have anything like pre-recorded. We've been trying, I mean, we've been several, probably 100 hours, to the point where some people are like, there's too much on here. And I'm like, you don't have to watch it all today or even this week or this month. But we've been building out more and more over time. Specifically for that, I don't want to be dishonest. I don't think we have that. But what we do have is we have coaches that have worked with various populations. Coach Samara probably has worked with even more people than me. She's been coaching for about 10 years, and she specifically worked with an older demographic for a period of that time. She's also done like sports and other things. So perfect thing would be is, like, after you introduce yourself, just say, hey, what suggestions would you have? And then our coaches can jump in and give specific advice for you. And I would say, you know, as you're getting back into the gym, please don't get injured. Injuries are like the only thing we don't want. So it's okay if we go a little bit slow. If you like to take any training footage, we can review that for you as well and make sure that everything looks correct so that you're not placing undue tension somewhere, putting a knee in the wrong spot, but basically making sure those movement patterns are conducive to keeping you healthy and also building muscle. And then,
So we do have pre-recorded yoga classes and lessons, and we do have live yoga calls with Allie every other Wednesday, and we also have one every Sunday with our other coach, David. And then I believe we just had another coach join. I don't think she's on our team, but Sarah Pennington, right?
Sarah joined.
With a CrossFitter, and she.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh yes. So to I am Mike, so I might sound like I'm foolishly repeating stuff, but just for the people at home watching as well. We do have, as Alex was saying, live classes 7 or 8 days a week now. It's like almost every day, sometimes twice a day, that anybody can hop in at any time that they want. And we did have Sarah Pennington join. She's a CrossFit athlete. I believe she's 65, and she's only been in a CrossFit for like the last 3 years. And she's now teaching a CrossFit for 55 and over class, not through us, but she would be a wealth of knowledge. And she was just literally saying the other night, well, like, I don't know who I'd help. Like, I'm happy to join you, but I don't know who I could really share with. And I'm like, the universe works in funny ways. So yeah. And I think I saw somebody go to raise their hand. Yes.
Curious, my daughter, she's in her 30s, and she seems to steer toward protein because she's concerned about the estrogen in the soy. Do you have concerns for that at all?
Yeah, that is a great question, and one that has been, I believe we've been misled a little bit. A lot of the studies showing that soy could be harmful, it turns out they've been funded by animal agriculture companies. Feel free to do your own research, so this is just my own opinion. But based on all that I have read, and with my athletes, like, or with my partner, I want to make sure I'm not leading them astray. Soy, well, Allie, for example, some soys digest well for you and some don't. So it's kind of like a person-to-person dependent. Like, I believe tofu works pretty well for you. Tempeh works well, but like,
Like very processed.
yeah.
Like very processed, dehydrated. That usually will upset my stomach and cause a lot of bloating. So if I do like TDP, for example,
Yeah.
or soy curls, it has to be boiled and then rinsed out, get the foamy water out, and then cook it, and then I'm okay.
Yeah. So
Tofu and tempeh work great for me.
So that's, thank you, yeah, for the people at home, TVP doesn't really digest well for Allie. But that's speaking just on digestion, just like how do you feel after you eat. But from a health perspective, the estrogens in soy are phytoestrogens, which are not the same thing as estrogens in the human body. So they're really, from all that I've seen, there's no correlation with increased soy causing problems in women. I would actually say, like, it's crazy that we look at that, but we don't. Not in men either. I mean, I've eaten soy every day for the last 20 years. I've done my own blood work. I do blood work on my athletes. So these are all anecdotal, like myself and the few hundred people I've worked with, like, that's anecdotal. But the studies also show that long-term soy consumption does not negatively impact hormones in men or women. It has the same name. It's an estrogen, but a phytoestrogen is not the same as estrogen made in the body. Yeah.
You don't have to have soy. I don't eat soy myself.
Yeah.
Because early on, I did a lot of research online with speakers and everything about it, and it's half of them say don't eat, half of them say do.
Yeah.
And some of them say, well, it's fine if it's fermented. Right? But so I eat mostly pea protein and hemp protein, and then beans, the protein, rather than, the soy. Although, it's nice, the idea of soy is nice because it kind of acts kind of like a meat, thing.
Yeah.
So do mushrooms. Mushrooms have that flavor you put in there. So if you are concerned about estrogen like I am,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then again, though, it's not going to be affected from soy. So eating less won't positively or negatively impact you. I would take a more holistic approach. The major contributor to estrogen through our diets is actually alcohol. That's, as a bodybuilder, one thing I ruled out like 5 years ago. No alcohol for me. If you just look at, kind of stereotyping people here, but if you look at like men that drink a lot, they'll be relatively skinny with a large stomach. That extra estrogen promotes abdominal fat storage, and it basically puts our body, it's a toxin, so it puts our body in that space. Now, I'm not saying you can't have, a glass of wine or two a night, well, maybe not a night, per week, however you want to do it. But that would be like something that you could actually change how your body's functioning by including or not including. Whereas soy, from everything that I've seen, it doesn't. The other one, I spoke about this outside, is plastics, single-use plastics. If you have like a plastic water bottle that sat in your car, I wouldn't personally drink that. Or like these reusable the non-reusable plastics that people will heat up in the microwave. I personally won't do any plastic in the microwave. I just use glass bowls because there are estrogens in that plastic that leach into your food and can actually affect like what you see on your blood work. So those are some like truly actionable ways to keep out. The proponent, I would say first soy, it has cardiovascular promoting benefits, like heart health benefits. Based on studies in China, women that consume more soy have better long-term health outcomes. And so clearly you can be healthy and not have soy. Clearly you can have soy every day and be healthy. It can be both ways. I just, for the kind of now getting off to, maybe the bigger point is like, what should my daughter have for a protein supplement that's healthy? Pea protein is great. I would recommend that she looks into, like, I'm sponsored by Veg, so of course I'm partial to them, but they're organic and third-party tested and made sure to not have heavy metals. I would have her dig into the companies that she's using, like the Orgain company. They're relatively popular and they tested pretty high for heavy metals within the last couple months. So I don't want to speak badly against a vegan company, but like, if there's lead in your product, it's probably not something you should be having multiple times per day, or if at all. So that would be something further that she could look into, is like the actual source for that pea protein. Yeah. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Go back on that.
Yeah.
Estrogen. Have you had your hormones tested and see your estrogen levels?
Yes. Throughout my career, I have done a lot of blood work, but again, not just myself, also done Allie's blood work, done plenty of my clients' blood work, and never had an issue. And even as early, I think the first time that I can remember having blood work done, I don't know, I'm sure like it happened more as a kid, but like around 15, my parents, after being vegan for a couple of years, deciding I wanted to get into lifting weights, my parents took me to a nutritionist who wanted to see everything I was eating and then also run my blood work. And I was including eating soy at that time. 15-year-old kid, totally fine. Nothing was out of range.
Well, 15-year-old.
Yeah.
One thing, get older because, that's going to affect as your testosterone goes down as you get older.
That is, not to cut you off, but testosterone dropping with age is not necessarily causal. It's not that you get older and your testosterone drops. It's typically we get older, we eat more junk food, we watch more TV, we work out less, and testosterone drops. They've actually, I think this is shocking and wrong. I'm gonna do it with hands. This is what they used to say natural testosterone levels should range at, and this is now what they say they should range at, because blood work is determined on populations, not individuals. And so when you see that reference range, it's like, what is a healthy reference range for the public? That doesn't necessarily mean like what's optimal or what could you feel your best. And so I have friends and fellow competitors that are up into their 60s, natural lifetime athletes that still eat soy frequently. Testosterone levels are fine on the men's side. Yeah. So I think it's been great propaganda by the animal agricultural companies, which is so funny because they feed the majority of their population, like all the cows, chickens, pigs are eating soybeans. Like 90% of the soy grown in the world is for factory farmed animals. We could, instead of growing 80 billion animals a year, feed all the people in the world. But I believe that they have instilled some fear and doubt into soy being a viable food source so that they don't have any competition, because for a while, soy was mostly what all the mock meats were made out of. But they do have more options now. You mentioned mushrooms. Meaty's a company, M-E-A-T-I, Meaty. that makes all of their products, I believe, from mushrooms, and they're pretty interesting stuff. Question over here.
I just want to bring up that I used to be very afraid of soy too before I went vegan, and I realized after doing a lot of research that we were being misled a lot. And if you look at the Asian population and they eat a lot of soy products, they actually have lower rates of breast cancer and cancer in general.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like a lot of people, great point, Ali, thank you. I think that is some of the best research that we can look at is the China study. It was done on about 1 billion people. I mean, China's a pretty big country, a lot of people there. And they were able to segment the people down into different demographics. And I think income was a big one, and income correlated very strongly with eating meat. And the poorer populations would eat more soy, it's cheaper, lots of white rice, and vegetables. Now, a lot of people here, this might be news to some people, they think white rice is bad for you because it's more processed, maybe higher glycemic index. We can get into that, that's a whole different thing. But white rice is not inherently bad for you. A lot of people would be shocked to hear that. What I've found as a bodybuilder is that white rice is easily digestible. It causes me probably out of all the foods in the world, like if I had a bellyache, white rice would probably be safe, bananas would probably be safe, things along those lines, but rice isn't inherently bad. What I consider it is it's an energy source. So we eat food for 2 reasons. One is to get energy, and one is to get micronutrients and basically the things that we need for our bodies to function on a smaller scale. White rice doesn't really have a lot of micronutrients, but it's a great energy source. It's not the same as like Oreos, big energy source, but it has sugars and oils and fats and other crap in it that we don't need. So a lot of people, at least that I've worked with, have been like, you really want me to eat white rice? I could eat brown rice. But I'm like, well, which one digests better for you? All the fiber in the brown rice and the husks doesn't seem to digest well for most people. And this is kind of a separate thing. Arsenic is commonly present in the soil that rice is grown in. And so arsenic concentrations are higher in brown rice because it stays on that husk because the husk isn't taken off. So there's just there's so much out there, and I don't have enough hours in the day to share all of it, and I don't even always think of all of it, but it's just crazy how we've been led in so many different directions. And I think usually if we follow the money, we can find the root of why people are doing and pushing most of the things. Thank you. Oh, I don't know if we're at time, but yes, thank you everyone so much. Yeah, Alex wants to come hop on up here, so.
Yeah, you can stay up here.
Oh, I can stay up here? Okay, I'll just do whatever you tell me.
Thank you all for being here and listening. I really appreciate it, y'all. I just want to speak on the community for like 2 minutes. I know John already talked a lot about it, and he talked a lot about like making veganism fun and sexy and like achievable for anybody, which is something that we do in the community for sure. But I think another really cool aspect outside of connecting vegans together and helping them achieve this lifestyle easily is the support that you get from all the different coaches. Like us being coaches, we all just have a really big desire to help people, to help you be your best self. Veganism for me was life-changing, but so was lifting weights, figuring out my nutrition, doing meditation, doing yoga, figuring myself out, figuring out practices like journaling, and taking time to help myself heal and process things that happened in my past. All those things helped me become a better version of myself, and every single one of our coaches just has like that desire to share all of their knowledge to help them become a better person. So our goal with the community is to create that community aspect to things, but also to help you become a better version of you. And yeah, we are very, very, I'm gonna say malleable. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're very open to feedback from our members. So if there's something that you're struggling with, please tell any of us, and we're gonna work to make it happen. I have 2 things. With the holiday module, that was like our idea to help vegans, navigate the holidays. And we recently signed a new coach onto the team, Ella Majors. She specializes in eating disorders, and she just created I also struggled. I had a pretty unhealthy relationship with food for many years. I've become better now with food. My relationship's improved, but I just released like a 5-part, very short videos, but a course on healing that relationship with food and navigating how, if you overeat during the holidays, how to approach that and give yourself gratitude and give yourself compassion throughout those moments, and kind of take away that label that exists around food around the holidays. So it's just like powerful stuff like that to help you elevate, and those little ways that we may not think about on a daily basis. So yeah, I feel like I had something else, but yeah.
Oh, we're here. I don't know if there's another presentation coming there. Okay, that we need to wrap up. So we'll mosey on like right outside the door. If anybody would like to come talk to us, see what the app is like, we can show you for real on the phone. And I just want to say thank you for coming up here. This is why you're here. You helped me do my job better. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being vegan. The world is a better place with you. So thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you. Ooh, shaking. I'm also now a speaker.